A good man is one who thinks beyond themselves. A good man is one who knows what my children need is passive income, because each one of them, they have a unique purpose given by God, and it may not necessarily be aligned with these assets. That's a good man. So that started generating passive income for us. And one of my customers told me something that I will never forget. She said, Pius, passive income, no matter how meager it is the sweetest income of them all. It feels so nice when you just get that alert that money has checked into your bank account and you didn't even have to show up to work anywhere. It's the sweetest income of them all. So portfolio, you cannot build passive income without building a portfolio. Build a healthy portfolio and you'll have a healthy dose of passive income. And as I was meditating on this, I was reminded of a very miraculous moment in Genesis 41. Genesis chapter 41, verse 35 to 38. And this is what it says. This is when Pharaoh had two similar dreams. And Joseph was brought in his presence, and Joseph was advising him. And this is what Joseph was telling him. And let them gather all the food for those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? So Joseph didn't do something so out of the world, He simply said, let's build a portfolio of food. Let's store food somewhere that can last us 7 years. A portfolio will take care of you in your times of trouble. And that has reminded me something I'm so passionate about what we do. Putting food on the table for your children should not be subjected to the turbulence of your business or employment status. Your kids don't care where your money comes from. They don't care about the economy. In good times, in bad times, we should be able to provide food. And God has given us wisdom for that, to provide shelter, to provide water, to provide all the things that they need. So, one divine idea to insulate your family from this turbulence of the economy and businesses that we run is ensuring that you have a healthy dose of portfolio that generates a stream of passive income year in, year out, month in, month out. That's how you insulate your family. We saw that during COVID. We were expecting that customers would come to us and withdraw their money. In fact, we experienced the opposite. Customers said, I cannot touch this. I cannot touch this unless I've shaken every other tree. Because they suddenly realized that this is what insulates their family from everything else that can go wrong in their jobs and businesses. So that's very important for you to have a portfolio. Your portfolio is your storehouse. Your portfolio is your storehouse in times of famine. So, how do you build a portfolio? Number one, and I say this as a very important point, you must appoint a money manager. Kenyans have this do-it-yourself disease. They want to be lawyer and money manager. My own personal testimony as an investment professional, because I don't have time to look after my portfolio, I realized that my customers are performing better than my portfolio. And the moment I realized that, I told my wife, we are selling everything, we are becoming customers of Nabo Capital. And from that henceforth, now we are customers of Nabo Capital. You know? Because if you don't appear somewhere in your calendar, how will you make it work? This thing needs to be nurtured. This hard-earned money, hard-earned savings, hard-earned investment, they need someone to nurture them. They need someone who wakes up every day and does nothing else but nurtures. Yeah? So, you need to appoint a money manager. And a money manager must be someone that you really trust, because you're truly trusting them with your firewall, the firewall of your home. So choose money managers that have a character that attracts you. Don't look just at the flashiness of everything. Look at the DNA. Look at the character. Look at the what moves. Can I trust this person with my money? Very important. Number two, purpose. You must have purpose. Don't just build a portfolio for the sake of building a portfolio. Joseph was building for a storehouse or a granary of grains for the purpose of going over that particular famine. He knew this will be used for the 7 years of famine. So have a purpose. If it is education, take care of education. If it is lifestyle, take care of lifestyle. And for those who will be in the 52-week program, we'll talk about this. But have a what? A purpose. Number three, when you have a purpose, have an investment plan. Be very clear, what do you need to do to get there? If you need a portfolio of 20 million shillings within 5 years, your investment manager will be able to give you a very good investment plan that tells you, if you do A, B, C, D, by the 5th year anniversary will be at 20 million shillings. You have a plan. When you have a plan, you start building the portfolio. Pay yourself. Now you are not just putting money in money market fund. Now you're putting them in clear pockets. This is for home ownership. This one is for education. This one is for a holiday. You know, by the way, we are not just serious people. We also make sure that you have fun. Holiday, I insist. When you build a portfolio, then you'll have the passive income. So that's how you build a portfolio. The 5th P. Personify. Tell your neighbor, personify. Personify. Everybody in this room came here with nothing. And everybody in this room will live with nothing. And we must face that fact. the soonest possible. So I'm a big advocate. Separate your portfolio from yourself. Separate your portfolio from yourself. Separate your assets, the things you own, from yourself. In our experience of dealing with especially families, wealthy families, we've observed that there are three big headaches that almost all of them face. Number one is, who will inherit me? Who will inherit me? Number two, how will they inherit me? And number three, how do I ensure there is equity? I distribute my wealth equitably. And as you know, the children of today are even more activists on this issue of equality. So listen to me in the next few minutes if you want to avoid this issue. The most important thing when you start thinking besides yourself and how this wealth will go to generations upon generations is a family trust. We need a family trust. This is the most important action I can recommend to all of you today. Put together a family trust. And what is a family trust? A family trust is really another person, a legal entity besides yourself, that holds those assets that you've been working for many years to accumulate. And these assets are professionally managed. To generate passive income. They are professionally managed to generate passive income. And this income is for beneficiaries that you have put together. I want these to be my beneficiaries. And all this is done with the oversight of a trustee or trustees. That's why it's called a trust. So you're thinking beyond yourself, beyond your lifetime, not even just beyond you, but also beyond your current children, the generation that you're seeing. You're thinking way 100 years from today. How will this thing that I've started today go 100 years? So a family trust is a legal entity, a person by themselves. They hold the family assets, and those assets are professionally managed to generate passive income. And that passive income will benefit the beneficiaries that you have designated, and the whole thing will be overseen by trustees that you will have appointed. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, I'm not old enough to have a family trust. I'm not yet in my 70s and 80s. No. Actually, the best time to put together a family trust is before you start accumulating assets. So that you're putting together your house. You're putting your house in order from a very young age. There's a word that I heard recently, that it is good to mature with a trust. So with the longer the trust exists while you are still on this earth, the more you're able to refine it and purpose it properly for those beneficiaries that you foresee in the future. So a family trust. Now, a family trust also comes with advantages. And one of them that I really like is tax advantages. In a family's trust setup, you can distribute up to 10 million shilling to each individual in a year without incurring any tax. And also, a family trust does not, any assets which are moving to the family trust do not get, they don't become subject to stamp duty. So it has some very serious tax advantages. And I'm reminded of what, of the saying that my people are perishing because lack of knowledge. This is something that is very available within our regulations, local regulations here. So the other thing that I really like about a family trust is that it keeps the family united. It keeps the family united. It does not matter how much God blesses you. But when it comes to the point of distribution, and you're distributing assets, you will have one challenge, and I can guarantee you today. Even if you have 3 children and 3 assets, each worth 1 billion shillings, there will be one asset that all of them will be wanting. So they will fight you and they will say, Mommy favors this person because they give them the asset. But that conversation is completely unnecessary in a family trust situation because all assets are held by the trust for the benefit of the family. So it forces the family to come together. You get? Now, even if you are to succeed to go over the hurdle of distribution, equitable distribution, and you say you have your 1 billion property, you have your 1 billion property, you have your 1 billion property. What have you just done? You've encouraged your children to go separate ways. You had 3 billion. The power of 3 billion is very different from the power of 1 billion. So this brings me to a statement that I hope it changes your life. Your children do not want your assets. They want the cash flows from the assets. Put it differently, the best inheritance you can give your children is passive income, not an assortment of assets. The best inheritance you can ever leave your children is passive income, not assets. Why? So, if, for example, one of you is so blessed to have one of the most successful malls in the country, and you say, this is what I'm going to bequeath my child with. I'm giving you this mall, you run this mall, and your life will be okay. Guess what? You might be very surprised that your child is not interested in running a mall. You are assuming that they're interested. No. They like what comes from the mall, not the mall. Yeah? The other thing is, you might say, my child does not have the capacity to run a mall. Those are realities. The third thing is, your child was probably called to be a pastor. Why are you turning a pastor to run a? Or they were supposed to be an investment professional like me. They are supposed to be leading Nabo. But now you send them to run a? The mall will fail. So separate these things. Your children need, the best inheritance to your children is passive income, not the assets can be managed by people who are not even your relatives. but they are better managers than your relatives. Sawa? So, Proverbs 13 verse 22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. I think unless you go over this issue of family trust and how to safely transition your assets to the next generation and generations, your wealth is likely to be eaten up by other people. And we have seen it. We've seen it. So, a good man is one who puts together a family trust. A good man is one who thinks beyond themselves. A good man is one who knows what my children need is passive income, because each one of them, they have a unique purpose given by God, and it may not necessarily be aligned with these assets. That's a good man. He's not leaving trouble to their children. Yeah. So, those are the 5 P's. Can we go over them? What's the first P? Package. Second P? Hey, why am I hearing papers flipping? This is in our heads now. Number 1 is package. Package yourself, right? Yes. Number 2? Pay yourself. Number 3? Produce. For who? For others. Produce for others. Number 4? Portfolio. Number 5? Personify. Meaning, separate yourself from the assets. So, as I conclude, and I don't conclude like pastors, it's one conclusion. Jim Rohn said, people who fail to plan, plan to fail. People who fail to plan, plan to fail. We have shared some amazing wisdom nuggets. You need to plan how to action those nuggets. Another statement that I found interesting is the same guy, Jim Rohn, said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are that you'll fall into someone else's plan, and guess what? They have no plan for you. Not much. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan, and guess what? They have planned. Guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Not much. So, what am I saying? If you want to continue with this conversation, you need to plan for the next 52 weeks. Because the next big thing is what? Income? Increase income. And I have been humbly invited to play a role in that, as God will enable. So I look forward to seeing all of you. We will also be sharing, opportunities that we want to tailor specifically for TKC within Nabo Capital, so that this is not a theory class. This is a practical class. This is a place where people will be having testimonies. So I challenge all of you, please go do your family balance sheets. Put your active income somewhere, number, your passive income somewhere. We will be monitoring that on a month-by-month basis. And I'm hoping to see graphs that look like that. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for having me.